Welcome back, interior designer Helen Austen, and today, guys, we are talking about your picks of the top 2025 interior design trends, which is very exciting. But before we get into this list, why is it helpful to be aware of these trends going into 2025?
Okay, it's not to adopt them.
Okay.
So just know, I'm not saying this is what you should do. It's more of this is what's possible to come into the mass market. So sometimes what trends do is cause things to then be produced so that people can buy them on a larger scale.
Yeah.
Not always. So when you saw the sea of gray that we're hopefully escaping, that's just a
lot of
small
gray.
example of that. Oh, so much gray, right?
So much gray.
We're out of that. So that's a trend to abandon. But just know, I'm not saying you should do this. Just know it may become things that you can actually buy a little bit easier. And also maybe push you out of your comfort zone. And I think as a designer, I kind of don't mind it anymore because it's like, okay, I didn't think of that, which I'll show you in a second. And I'm like, but I think I can work with that. And you actually, things turn out really great.
Yeah,
it kind of
gets
helps
you out of
get
that
out of your whatever your kind of thing that you're always
you
doing.
Don't get stuck. Okay, so let's get right into these. What is the first trend that you're seeing for 2025?
So colors, moody hues. So we started to see this in 24. We saw a lot of green. So this is even darker green. So we saw a lot of kitchens in green, and I'm here for it. Actually, it was beautiful. Now we're seeing like maroons and burgundies and deep browns. Okay. All right. So, and I'll tell you what, some of this feels like I was born in the 80s. You probably were born, what, early 2000s, or I don't know.
96.
Yesterday.
96.
So this reminds me a little bit of childhood. This is kind of, we're kind of nudging into some 90s.
These
but it's really
colors
pretty.
right here make me think of Barney. But like a moody, trendy Barney.
So you're not going to do this, is what I'm hearing.
Well, no. Here's the thing, Helen. My couch is this color.
Yeah. Actually, some of this goes. So what's interesting is when you pair things right, they work really well. So I actually did a guest bedroom recently in a little bit lighter hue in this, and I actually love it. And I was kind of like, okay, I'm just going to try this. Yeah. And it turned out really nicely. So what this is great for small spaces, spaces you're not in. Probably don't do it in your living room necessarily, unless you're super adventurous. But these type of really dark muty hues, they have their place and they're really nice.
Okay, now we got to talk about patterns.
All right. Lots of patterns. This is where we're going back to the B&B in the 1990s.
All right.
So I remember when, I don't know if you probably didn't, some B&Bs had what I used to call like flowers on every surface. So the walls were flowers and okay, so there's some inching back into that and I'm a little cringy on it, but I will say, so these are some wallpapers that I got recently from Schumacher. Okay, paired right with the right types of fabrics, and then I think with the right wall color, they're actually really, really pretty. But they are a nod back to old patterns that we haven't seen in a really long time. So just give them a moment and know that they actually can have a really great place. I will actually be using some of these in some future designs, and I think they actually do have their place. And this is one of the examples that's pushed me out of my boundaries, where at first I was like,
a little apprehensive.
But I really think they can be really pretty.
Now, does color and pattern, does it impact the third design trend that we're seeing?
It does, because personalization is now everything. So now that we're not all gray and we're not all black and white, we can actually, like, what kind of things do you like? What colors are you drawn to? What's the purpose of the space? We can actually do all this a lot easier than before, when everything was like a single palette or oversimplified. Yeah. So it's really exciting in that way. Okay, now we got to talk about something. It's called color drenching. Yes. What do we need to know about this? Okay, so we saw this in 24. We're going to see more of it here. It's where we're painting the ceiling as well. So you paint the walls and the ceiling the same color. There it is. So contrary to what you might think, this actually allows the ceiling to feel taller, because you aren't getting that white cutoff. So you normally paint a wall, then you have the white, that hits it, and you're like, oh, there's the ceiling. Now it actually lifts the room. It actually feels cozy. It can have a moody hue if you have that going on, but actually start considering to paint your ceiling. If it's obviously the popcorn ceiling, you can't paint it.
Yeah, maybe don't do that.
Every other ones, those are good to go.
Okay, we only got a few seconds left, but what's that last tip you've got for us?
Biophilic design is actually a word you're going to start hearing more of. Really just means bringing nature in. We saw a lot of this in mid-century.
About doing that.
Yeah, so anything we can do from like a little fountain or water features, you're just going to see it in architecture heavily. But anything where we're bringing in more plants, more natural light, shapes and things that mimic nature. So biophilic design is going to probably become more part of a conversation that we all need. It's good for our mental health.
There you go. Exactly. I'm going to bring some of these in. Well, Helen, thank you so much for being here today and giving us these awesome trends that you guys are going to be seeing. You can contact Helen Austen today for your next interior design project. Visit her website, helenaustin.com, and don't forget Austin with an E-N, and you can schedule your complimentary discovery call today.